2 years ago, I went through a profoundly horrific time in my life. I got divorced. All the countries where I'm from were basically at war. I lost all my money. I became estranged from my dad, and the relationships in my family totally shifted. And recently, things have been going well, man. Things have been going well. I have felt this very profound sense of aliveness inside of me that I haven't felt in so long. And when I reflect back to when my business was doing at its absolute best, it was this it was feeling a sense of aliveness. And I was trying to really tap into what has shifted and how I was able to get here. Because for all of you that have complex trauma, that come from dysfunctional families, that have really tricky familial dynamics, I always want to reflect on what supports me so that you can feel supported too.
Welcome to Deep Within. On this show, we dive deep into the nervous system, emotional healing, and transformation from within the body. When I started my personal development journey, it was all in the mind, doing affirmations, visualizations, listening to endless motivational videos. And I found that this approach, without actually getting my body on board, only left me in deeper shame and distress. So this is actually how I discovered somatic body-based healing. My name is Marina Trainer, and I am the Compassionate Somatic Coach. I'm gentle, sensitive, and I love deep conversations. I'm so excited and so glad you're here so we can feel like we're together in our own little bubble of deep talks.
And recovering from a dysfunctional dynamic in your family is really, really hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's honestly like harder than divorce and all the other things I mentioned because it is the root and the core of all the pain that I feel. And it's very hard for someone that has a lot of trauma in their system, for someone whose life hasn't been so easeful, supportive, who hasn't had secure attachment in their childhood, to just like tap into aliveness and gratitude. It's really hard. Like your body doesn't just automatically go there. You can't even force it because it would be a heady exercise and you wouldn't feel it. So it wouldn't really shift anything for you. At the same time, to me, the point of being alive is to feel aliveness. If I don't feel aliveness, what is the point of living on this planet, and going through everything we go through? And how I see the last 2 years is a death. Yes, I didn't physically die. I'm still here. And like, I feel like the version of me that has totally been murdered. And that process was so gut-wrenching. And that's why I feel like it was a dark night of the soul, because all of the ways in which I created safety for myself or experienced safety went away. And it was like an onion being peeled, like the outer layer was my marriage, and overachieving, outer onion, overachieving, like creating, making money, getting new clients, all of these things that at the core, like I love my work. I'm obsessed with my work. I feel so grateful that I have the work that I have. It's a dream come true. Like I live in Costa Rica. I don't have a boss. I work my own hours. I love what I do. I enjoy every second of it. It's amazing. And it has a lot of challenges too. And when you operate out of a shame-based energy, where you try to use achieving as a way to create the safety that you never had as a kid because you grew up in chaos, because you had to play a role. You couldn't really explore your authentic self or be your authentic self in many ways, not in every way, but in many ways. You had to play a very particular role and adapt to the dysfunction by playing this role. And your whole life then, you stayed in this role, which for me was overachieving, being perfect, meaning like I could never make a mistake. If anyone ever told me like, you fucked up, you made a mistake, oh my goodness, like no. perfectionism, people pleasing, like always helping and fixing and being the sweet one, the cute one, and this kind of identity. Those were the deepest layers. On the surface, so many people that are overachievers look really fucking good. Like they have the money, the career, the house, their kids look perfect, their husband looks perfect, their partner, whatever. But on the inside, there's very deep pain and they're operating out of this pain. So it doesn't feel good. Like they don't feel good in their life. They don't feel alive. They don't feel like they can just be, like pause and just be and take in life and enjoy life, because there is such a deep sense of shame for even existing. And this could come from so many things. Like I've worked with people who have, had a very complicated birth, or they were unwanted. I was unwanted initially, and my mom almost aborted me. In addition, then in your childhood, when parts of you are shamed, when particular emotions are shamed, and your needs and desires as a child, and it doesn't have to be that you had these malicious and terrible parents. Like it could be that your parents were very stressed and traumatized, and they just didn't have capacity to allow you to be yourself. Maybe you couldn't play. That's me. I was not allowed to play. I had to always be on. Like I always had to achieve every extracurricular activity I did. It wasn't fun. It was like for a purpose. And there's such deep pain in that because you don't even know who you are. You never did. I mean, you did as a very little one, because at the end of the day, it comes back to you and you start to connect with it. Like, I've been dancing. Guess what? I've been Latin dancing. Since I was a little girl, when I would watch people dance, I would sob. I always cry when I watch people dance. And now I'm dancing, of course. So, like, now I have a new hobby that I love, and it's so fun, and it brings me so much joy. And it fills my cup from the dysfunction and the pain and the abandonment and the losses that I've had all the way from now to my childhood. And so this is a big piece of it, right? It's like there's a death that you're going through. And right now, the clients I work with, they are all dying in some way. And it is uncomfortable. And it is like so, it's death. It is death. And it's so hard. Like it's so painful in every way. And the crazy thing is, before my aliveness returned to me, I went through these like few weeks where the peak of pain was so intense and something in my life triggered it. But I was able to recognize and see that it was this very visceral pain. Like it literally felt like someone is putting something so, so heavy on my heart. And I was able to see that this is an old story. That doesn't mean it feels good, but what helps when you do that, when you're able to discern that, is that you are able to see that you're actually safe right now. You're not threatened. You're not in danger. But the old story needs to be healed and felt. It doesn't mean that you can ignore it, right? It doesn't mean that you can go dissociate and like feel nothing. You sit with it and you feel it, and it is fucking painful. And you know that you're not dying. Like, even though there are layers of you that are dying, you're not dying. And that has taken me many years to cultivate, to feel kind of safer in that metaphorical death of these layers. So the layer of like my marriage, it was first very practical layers, right? My marriage, the countries I come from, money, my family, like everything that was like, oh yeah, this is how it works. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Nothing works anymore. And then it was like deeper layers. It was my coping mechanisms. I would overwork out like my whole life. I abused my body. I overate. I overachieved on everything. Like everything I did had to be perfect. And like dancing, for example, is such a good thing for me because I'm not perfect at dancing. I'm still learning. I'm literally learning from scratch. When in your adult life have you gone and learned something from scratch? It's very uncomfortable. Speaking Spanish, very uncomfortable experience. because I sound like probably like a 5. Okay, maybe a 10-year-old, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I talked to my friend's kid who's 5, and I think I sound like her.
Hello there. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. I appreciate you so much. And if you can just take one little moment and help me make this podcast a success and support us, please just subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave me a little comment. I want to hear from you. How's this landing for you? Is this interesting? What are you learning? What are your takeaways? Again, thank you for being here. I love you, and let's get back into it.
So anyway, these experiences, they are the opposite of coping, right? These are life-giving, but they feel very awkward at first because all of the ways that you filled the void of shame that you have carried your entire life, a void that says, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve anything good, I am broken at my very core. These are the stories that came up for me for several weeks, very intensely, before something big switched. And I feel it. It's a big switch. Does that mean I don't feel bad anymore? No. I still have moments where I get very melancholy. That's one of my big responses to stress. I get very melancholy. And I just know, like, oh, I'm stressed. Like something in my system is stressed. And when you have complex trauma, it doesn't just involve, like, triggers are not just literally like something that happens and you're like, oh yeah, like this happened and I'm triggered and I'm feeling melancholy or I'm feeling fear or whatever. It could be being hungry. It could be not sleeping well. It could be a pain in your body, like anything that is unconscious, and all of a sudden you're in the loop. You're in the pain loop. And it is so helpful to know what throws you into those loops, um, and be able to recognize that I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I'm stressed. I feel threatened, and I'm going to shift it, right? And I'm going to talk about how to shift it. But before I do, one of the biggest things that I did different in this window of severe pain is to share, and I have been sharing with friends and people that I love, and luckily now I have really, really amazing friends. Like, I want to advertise my friends. And I want to advertise to you that if you don't have friends who you can cry and laugh with and tell them you want to die, whatever you're feeling, you don't have good friends. Go get yourself out there. If you're healing, you're going to attract people on your level and they're going to be fucking awesome. Let me tell you. So I told my friends how I was feeling, and it was really uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable, because again, I'm always okay, and I'm always fine, and I'm just here, and I'm cute, and everything's fine. And that's not how I sounded like, right? I was a mess, and I told them, and I cried with them. And that co-regulation is so crucial. I always now teach co-regulation and not just self-regulation, okay? And feeling the pain from a place of safety means that you do your self-regulation practices that I teach through breath, sound, and movement, where you can actually feel like more capacity and more space in your body and more ability to like be with painful things. And it's okay. Like, it's uncomfortable, but it's okay. So that's really, really important. And then after like those few weeks of one of the most intense pain moments I've felt, but in a very different way, like very safe way, all of a sudden I started to say to myself, and it came out of nowhere, it doesn't matter if I don't have money. It doesn't matter if I don't have a partner. It doesn't matter anything. Like, I will not be robbed of my aliveness. I will not. I will not allow my childhood dysfunction to rob me of my aliveness. I will not allow anything in my life to rob me of my aliveness, because I am alive right now. And I only have this one life. And I'm either going to die literally because there's no point in living otherwise, or I'm going to feel alive. And so I would notice the melancholy. I would feel the melancholy come in. And that's for everybody, it's different. And one of the things that really helps to know your signal of stress is the Enneagram, but that's a whole other video. I've talked about it on Instagram a bunch. But basically, you identify your emotion or state of being that is showing you that you're under stress. And when you know that, like for me, it doesn't help to feel the melancholy, to like sit and feel melancholy. What helps is to recognize, oh, I'm stressed and I notice melancholy. I notice it. It's not that I ignore it. And then I go and purposefully seek aliveness. Now, this would not work if I wasn't doing the trauma healing work. So I hope you can see that. I'm not asking you to go feel grateful. Just go feel grateful when you're like, but I want to die. No, that's not what I'm telling you to do. It's very important to process trauma and grief and rage. And when you know your stress response and you know you're in it, to go and find resources. And what that means in somatics, resources are aspects of your environment, your life. It could be your friendships, it could be your pet, it could be food that you love, whatever. It could be your personality, parts of you that you love. And you tap into them. You either think of them or you go look at them or you smell them or you hear them. It could be a song and you feel it inside. And many of you are very highly sensitive. And that is a beautiful thing to actually access here because we have so much natural aliveness. And what I've been doing is I've been going outside. You could see some green over here in my garden. I've been going outside and just looking at my view, which is insane. And I've just been allowing myself to feel the abundance, the beauty, the birds, the animals, the trees, like everything. And especially when I feel like I need stability, for example. Stability is something that I often really crave. I will go look at a tree and I will like see the stability in that tree and I will feel that in my body. And that brings so much aliveness. And if that doesn't work, I will use my breath, sound, and movement to regulate myself and then access it. But the point is to know and feel in your bones that you deserve to feel good. You deserve aliveness. You deserve to feel great on this planet merely because you exist. And when you know that, you will find the way back into your aliveness, even if you're going through the hardest time of your life. And one of the things in the way of that often is shame. So that is a lot of work we need to do. And it's also, our trauma that we need to work through and not ignore. But my friend, you deserve it. You're amazing. You're a beautiful spirit and soul. If you're here, it means that you are putting all this energy and effort into your healing. And I'm so proud of you. And I hope that this gives you hope into your aliveness. And if this is work that you want to dive deeper into, I have group programs coming up. Check that out on my Instagram. I always share everything that I have coming up. And currently I have one spot available in this moment for one-on-one work with me for 3 months. If not, there will be a wait list. So check that out too. And how this works is we have 3 sessions in those 3 months. And in addition to that, we voice note 5 days a week. And that's really, really fun. And I get to know you so well and you get to know me so well. And I get to really like see your patterns and support you in them and guide you into feeling better. At the end of the day, that's what I guide you into, feeling better in every aspect of your life, in your career, in your work. I end up working with a lot of healers. Or people that end up being healers, your career, your relationships, and of course, most importantly, your relationship with yourself. So check that out. I would love to work with you whenever I have a spot available. I love you. You are amazing and you're doing it.